A wise man once said nothing at all, for wisdom doesn't reside in the amount of words spoken but in their value. True sages speak when they have something meaningful to share, while fools speak simply to fill the silence, eager for attention, drowning in their own noise. We've all encountered those who fill conversations with empty chatter, masking their lack of depth. The ancient Stoics, however, took a very different approach. To them, words were like arrows, only effective when carefully aimed and released with purpose. They recognized that true power often lies not in what is said, but in the restraint of speech. In silence, we gain the opportunity to observe, learn, and comprehend the world around us. This insight gives weight and substance to the words we do choose to speak, drawing the attention of others, not with volume, but with wisdom. Lesson 1. The Stoics' Quiet Strength. Where does your true strength lie? Is it in your physical prowess, your influence over others, or in something more subtle, more enduring? According to the Stoics, the greatest strength a person can possess is not found in external achievements or control over others, but in mastering one's own mind. Marcus Aurelius, one of Stoicism's greatest teachers, wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This is the bedrock of the Stoics' quiet strength, the mental fortitude that enables one to remain calm and resilient in the face of life's inevitable hardships. Why did the Stoics place so much emphasis on inner strength? It's because they understood that the challenges that truly test us are not those imposed by external circumstances, but those created by our internal reactions to them, our fears, desires, and emotions. By cultivating a quiet, resilient mind, free from the turmoil of uncontrolled feelings and impulses, you can unlock a strength greater than any physical power. How does this quiet strength show up in daily life? Take the example of receiving criticism. The Stoic approach isn't to react impulsively or defensively, but to pause, listen carefully, and rationally assess whether the feedback warrants a change in behavior. By doing this, you conserve mental energy, maintain composure, and open yourself up to personal growth. But what does it mean to cultivate a quiet mind? It starts with reflection. Every evening, take time to reflect on the events of your day. What emotions surfaced? How did you respond to them? Could a quieter, more deliberate approach have produced better outcomes? This practice of reflection enhances self-awareness and helps you remain calm and centered in future situations. Another central tenet of Stoicism is the acceptance of impermanence. Marcus Aurelius reminds us of this when he says, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think." This awareness of life's fleeting nature encourages us to live fully in the present, without becoming attached to moments, whether good or bad. By understanding that everything is temporary, you learn to embrace life with intensity and gratitude, while also preparing to let go when the time comes. Each obstacle you encounter offers a valuable opportunity to practice Stoic virtues such as patience, discipline, and resilience. Instead of seeing challenges as hindrances, ask yourself, what lesson can I learn from this? This shift in mindset transforms difficulties into opportunities for growth. How often do you find yourself influenced by the opinions of others? The Stoics emphasize inner conviction and moral integrity over societal approval. This doesn't mean disregarding others, but it does mean placing more weight on your own values and reason. When you anchor yourself in this way, you remain less affected by external judgments, making it easier to stand firm in your principles. Practical exercise, controlling reactions. For a practical exercise, focus on one Stoic principle, the ability to control your reactions. The next time you feel a surge of emotion, pause, take a deep breath and ask yourself, is my reaction aligned with reason? This small act of reflection can help you maintain a quiet mind, even in the face of daily challenges. Lesson 2. Harnessing the power of silence in relationships. Have you ever noticed how powerful silence can be in conversations? Silence can speak volumes, providing clarity and depth in ways that words sometimes cannot. The Stoics believed that true wisdom often comes from listening more than speaking. By cultivating silence, we create the space to truly hear and understand others, building stronger, more meaningful relationships. Consider the last time you really listened to someone without preparing your response while they were speaking. Did you notice how much more you understood when you gave your full attention? Silence allows us to observe not just the words spoken, but the emotions, tone, and underlying intentions. Stoicism teaches that understanding stems from observation and reflection, not from hasty reactions. When we pause before responding, we allow ourselves time to process the information thoroughly. which leads to clearer and more thoughtful communication. How often do you react impulsively, without fully grasping the situation? By embracing silence, you create space to think and respond with intention. Silence, in this context, is not passive but active. It's a deliberate choice to listen deeply and understand before speaking. This habit prevents misunderstandings and de-escalates potential conflicts. The Stoics also placed great value on empathy, which is closely linked to the practice of silence. By listening intently, you not only gather information, but also open yourself up to truly understanding the experiences and perspectives of others. This empathetic silence is a powerful tool for building trust and respect in relationships. Think back to a time when someone gave you their silent, undivided attention. How did that make you feel? Such moments foster deep connections and strengthen the bonds between people. Another important Stoic virtue is knowing when to speak and when to remain silent. In a world that often glorifies constant chatter, the ability to hold your tongue becomes a powerful skill. By refraining from speaking in haste, you can avoid unnecessary conflicts and regrets. When was the last time you regretted something you said in the heat of the moment? Reflecting on such instances reinforces the value of silence and thoughtful speech. Practical exercise, embracing silence. To put this into practice, consciously choose moments in your daily interactions to remain silent and listen. Pick a conversation each day where you focus entirely on hearing the other person, refraining from speaking unless absolutely necessary. Observe how this impacts the dynamics of the conversation. Do people respond differently when you listen more than you speak? How does this practice affect your understanding of others? Remember, Stoic Quiet Strength is not only about finding peace within yourself, it's also about deepening your relationships and understanding others on a more profound level. Through silence, you unlock the power to connect, empathize, and communicate more effectively. Lesson 3: Managing Criticism with Quiet Strength. How do you typically react when someone criticizes you? This lesson delves into the Stoic method of handling criticism with the calm strength of a peaceful mind. The Stoics believed that both constructive and harsh criticism could be valuable opportunities for practicing essential virtues like resilience, temperance, and humility. When you approach criticism with a composed and reflective mind, you can extract meaningful insights, turning challenges into moments for growth. Imagine the tranquility you could maintain by viewing criticism not as a personal attack, but as a chance for self-improvement. This shift in perspective is key to embodying the quiet strength that Stoicism teaches. One of the core Stoic principles is the understanding that it's not the words of others that harm us, but our own opinions about them. This is especially important when dealing with criticism. If you can learn to separate your emotions from the feedback you're receiving, you'll be able to assess it more objectively. Does the criticism hold any truth? Is there something valuable you can take from it? When you detach from the emotional reaction, you remain calm and composed, which is crucial for thoughtful reflection. How often have you allowed someone's words to disrupt your inner peace unnecessarily? By learning to separate facts from emotions, you develop a powerful tool to maintain a tranquil mind even in challenging situations. The Stoics also emphasized the importance of reflection before reaction. When you receive criticism, take a moment to pause, breathe, and think. This brief pause is powerful. It prevents knee-jerk reactions and helps you stay composed. During this pause, you can reflect on the intentions behind the criticism. Are they trying to help you see something you've missed? Or is it merely a personal attack? By giving yourself time to reflect, you create an opportunity to grow from the situation, turning what could be a conflict into a chance for personal development. Another Stoic practice that is useful in managing criticism is questioning its validity. Ask yourself whether the feedback is rooted in facts or if it's simply an opinion. This process helps you determine if the criticism should influence your actions or if it's something that can be dismissed. The more you practice this, the more you develop a rational approach to interactions. How do you decide which criticisms to consider and which to let go? By creating a system to evaluate feedback, you enhance your decision-making process and become more in tune with your values. Gratitude is another Stoic principle that applies even when receiving negative feedback. The Stoics believed that every situation, including criticism, offers something to be thankful for. Even harsh criticism can provide valuable lessons about ourselves or point out areas that need improvement. By finding something to be grateful for in every piece of feedback, you align yourself with the Stoic goal of continuous self-improvement. Can you recall a time when difficult feedback led to a breakthrough or valuable insight? It's also important to recognize that you cannot control how others perceive or judge you. The quiet strength of the Stoic mindset lies in accepting that while we can't dictate how others see us, we can control how we respond. This realization can free you from the exhausting task of seeking approval from everyone. Instead, focus on maintaining your own integrity and acting according to your principles. When was the last time you felt at peace, even though you knew someone disagreed with you? By embracing this Stoic perspective, you can protect your inner peace, regardless of external opinions. A practical Stoic approach to criticism is engaging in feedback loops. After you've processed the initial feedback, consider reaching out for clarification or more details. This proactive step shows that you're committed to improving and willing to engage constructively with your critics. It also builds resilience by exposing you to feedback more regularly, helping you develop the skill of handling it gracefully. How could regularly seeking feedback improve both your personal growth and your relationships? For your practical exercise, reflect on a recent instance where you received criticism. Write down your initial emotional response, then apply Stoic principles to reassess the situation. Did you find any truth in the feedback? What can you learn from it? By practicing this analysis, you'll strengthen your Stoic mindset and become better equipped for future critiques. Remember that every piece of feedback, no matter how difficult, is an opportunity to practice the Stoic virtues of resilience, humility, and emotional control. Lesson 4: Overcoming fear and anxiety with quiet strength. How do you typically handle fear and anxiety? Life presents us with countless situations that can trigger these emotions, but Stoicism offers a powerful approach to managing them. This lesson explores how Stoic philosophy teaches us to use the quiet strength of the mind to address fears and anxieties, helping us maintain peace in the face of uncertainty. The Stoics believe that fear and anxiety often arise not from the events themselves, but from our judgments about those events. By reframing our perspective, focusing on the present, and mastering our reactions, we can significantly reduce these emotional burdens. The first step in the Stoic approach to fear is recognizing the distinction between what we can control and what we cannot. When anxiety strikes, take a moment to analyze the situation. Is this something within my control? More often than not, our fears stem from factors beyond our influence, such as the actions of others or the outcomes of future events. By acknowledging this, we can shift our focus back to what we do have control over: our thoughts, reactions, and actions. How different would your emotional landscape look if you focused on what you can change, rather than worrying about what you can't? Mindfulness is another key practice in managing anxiety. The Stoics believed in the power of staying fully present, avoiding the traps of overthinking the past or worrying about the future. By grounding yourself in the present moment, you break the cycle of anxiety. Try focusing on your immediate surroundings. What can you see, hear, smell, or touch right now? How does being present affect your emotional state? Another effective Stoic method for dealing with anxiety is negative visualization. This involves imagining the worst possible outcome, not to dwell on it, but to reduce the fear of the unknown and mentally prepare yourself for any scenario. Often, we find that our fears are less daunting once we confront them head-on, in our minds first. Have you ever noticed that something you feared seemed less frightening once it actually happened? The Stoics also advocated gradual exposure to fears. Facing your fears in small, manageable steps can help reduce their power over you. This doesn't mean diving into your deepest anxieties all at once, but rather taking incremental actions to build your confidence and resilience. What small step can you take today toward overcoming a fear? For your practical exercise, think about a recent situation that caused you anxiety. Use Stoic principles to evaluate your response. Did you focus on what you could control? Could mindfulness or negative visualization have helped you manage the situation differently? By practicing these techniques, you'll build a stronger, quieter mind, better equipped to handle future challenges. In the next lesson, we'll explore how Stoic quiet strength can be applied to managing personal finances, guiding us toward a rational and disciplined approach to economic decisions. Lesson 5: Harnessing Stoic quiet strength in decision-making. Do you often feel a sense of overwhelm when you're faced with an important or complex decision? If so, this lesson dives into how the Stoic philosophy of quiet strength can be a powerful tool to guide you through those challenging moments. The Stoics teach us that cultivating a calm and focused mind is essential for clear decision-making. When our mind is quiet, it is less prone to distractions and irrelevant concerns, allowing us to concentrate on the matters that truly hold weight. By embracing this quiet strength, we can make choices that not only serve us in the moment, but also align with our deeper values and stand the test of time. Imagine the clarity and decisiveness you could achieve if you were able to silence the noise of everyday distractions and truly focus on what matters most. This is the essence of Stoic decision-making, an approach grounded in wisdom, objectivity, and inner peace. One of the foundational Stoic principles that can enhance decision-making is the dichotomy of control. This concept teaches us to focus on the aspects of a situation that we can directly influence, such as our thoughts, efforts, and attitudes, rather than worrying about outcomes that are beyond our control. When applied to decision-making, this shift in perspective can reduce anxiety and foster a more rational, grounded approach. Instead of being overwhelmed by uncertainties or what might happen, we concentrate on making the best possible decision based on the factors we can control. By doing so, we free ourselves from the paralyzing fear of the unknown and become more empowered in our choices. Think back to a recent decision where this understanding could have shifted your focus and lightened your mental burden. How would your approach have changed if you had focused solely on what was within your control? Another Stoic practice that aids in decision-making is the cultivation of foresight. The Stoics encourage us to think several steps ahead, considering not just the immediate effects of our decisions, but also their long-term consequences. This process, known as premeditatio malorum, or the premeditation of evils, involves mentally preparing for potential obstacles or challenges that may arise. By envisioning these scenarios in advance, we are less likely to be caught off guard by unforeseen difficulties, and we can make more thoughtful and calculated decisions. How often do you truly consider the long-term ripple effects of your choices? By thinking ahead, we can avoid impulsive decisions that may seem appealing in the moment but lead to regret in the future. Negative visualization, another Stoic technique, can be a powerful tool in decision-making as well. This practice involves imagining the worst-case scenario in any given decision. While this may sound like a pessimistic exercise, its purpose is to build emotional resilience by reducing the fear of the unknown. When you visualize the worst possible outcome and recognize that you have the inner strength to handle it, you become less fearful of making difficult decisions. This process can liberate you from the paralysis of fear and help you approach decision-making with greater confidence. Have you ever tried this technique? If so, reflect on how it might have shifted your mindset and given you more courage in your decision-making process. The Stoics also advocate for simplicity in decision-making. In today's world, we are often overwhelmed by too many choices, each with a multitude of factors to consider. Stoicism teaches that simplifying our decisions can help us cut through the complexity and focus on what truly matters. By narrowing down our options and concentrating on the core essentials, we make more confident, clear-headed choices. Simplification not only frees our minds from unnecessary clutter, but also enhances our ability to make decisions quickly and efficiently. When was the last time you benefited from simplifying a decision? How might this strategy help you face complex decisions in the future? From a Stoic perspective, every decision is an opportunity to practice virtues such as wisdom, courage, and self-discipline. As we grow in our understanding of Stoicism, we learn to view decision-making not just as a practical necessity, but as a vital part of our personal growth and character development. Each choice we make shapes who we are and how we move through the world. Reflecting on your past decisions through a Stoic lens can help you recognize where you have acted in alignment with your values and where there might be room for improvement. This self-reflection not only enhances your future decision-making, but also deepens your sense of personal integrity. How often do you pause to reflect on how your decisions reflect your values? For a practical exercise, I encourage you to try the Stoic practice of daily reflection. At the end of each day, take a few quiet moments to evaluate the decisions you made throughout the day. Ask yourself, were my choices aligned with Stoic principles? Did I focus on what was within my control? Did I think ahead and consider the long-term consequences? Was I able to simplify complex decisions? And did I maintain a calm and rational mind throughout the process? By engaging in this daily reflection, you can sharpen your decision-making skills and continue to cultivate the Stoic quiet strength that will serve you in all areas of life. Lesson 6. Navigating loss and grief with quiet strength. Loss and grief are inevitable parts of the human experience. How do you respond when faced with these profound challenges? In this lesson, we explore how Stoic quiet strength can help us navigate the difficult emotions that come with loss and grief. The Stoics recognized that life is full of suffering, but they also believed in our ability to face these hardships with dignity and inner strength. By applying Stoic principles, we can maintain a calm and composed mind, even in the midst of profound sadness. Imagine how transforming your approach to grief could not only help you endure, but also grow stronger from the experience. This journey is about finding peace within yourself, independent of external circumstances. The Stoics teach us to prepare for loss by accepting its inevitability. Instead of avoiding thoughts of loss, they encourage us to mentally and emotionally prepare for it. This doesn't diminish the pain of losing something or someone, but it helps us approach these moments with less resistance and shock. By acknowledging that change and loss are natural parts of life, we can confront them with more composure when they occur. Have you ever taken the time to truly acknowledge the possibility of loss in your life? How might this mental preparation reduce the emotional weight of grief when it arrives? Another essential Stoic principle is detachment from external things, including relationships. This doesn't mean we shouldn't form meaningful connections or love deeply. Instead, it encourages us to understand that all things are temporary. Reflecting on the impermanence of relationships allows us to appreciate them more fully in the present and maintain our emotional equilibrium when they end. How might viewing relationships through this lens change your reactions to loss? For your practical exercise, reflect on a loss you have experienced recently or in the past. Apply the Stoic principles discussed to revisit this event with a new perspective. Did focusing on impermanence, emotional expression, and gratitude influence your experience of grief? Practicing these techniques regularly can fortify your Stoic, quiet strength, allowing you to move through life's losses with grace, understanding, and resilience.